What kind of man executes a king and then goes home for dinner? During the French Revolution, one man stood at the center of chaos. Not a general, not a politician, not a revolutionary hero, but the executioner. His name was Charles-Henri Sanson, and over his lifetime he carried out thousands of executions, including King Louis XVI. But who was he really? A villain? A servant of justice? Or just a man born into a job he could never escape? This is the story of the man behind the guillotine. Charles-Henri Sanson wasn't a revolutionary by choice. He was born in 1739 into a family of executioners. For generations, the Sansons had served as official executioners of Paris. In 18th century France, executioners were necessary, but socially shunned. They performed the law's final act, yet were treated like outcasts. Children of executioners couldn't easily marry outside their circle. Many families avoided them completely. This wasn't just a job. It was a family sentence. When Charles Henry's father became ill, the responsibility fell to him at just 18 years old, and he couldn't refuse. In 1789, everything changed. France erupted into revolution. The monarchy was collapsing, anger filled the streets, and with political chaos came something else: executions. Before the guillotine, methods of execution varied and often depended on social class, but revolutionaries wanted equality in everything, even death. That's when the guillotine became the symbol of the new republic, promoted as a more equal method of execution. And Charles-Henri Sanson became the man operating it, January 21st, 1793. The unthinkable happened. King Louis XVI was sentenced to death, and the man tasked with carrying it out, Sanson. Imagine the pressure. Executing criminals was one thing. Executing the King of France was another. Historical accounts say Louis remained composed. Sanson later wrote that the king showed courage in his final moments. The blade fell, the monarchy ended, and France would never be the same again. But neither would Sanson. If the king's execution shocked the world, what followed was even darker. The Reign of Terror. Under revolutionary leader Maximilien Robespierre, thousands were arrested and sentenced. Executions became daily events. Crowds gathered in public squares. Some came out of fear, some came out of curiosity. And at the center of it all, steady, professional, silent, stood Sanson. Some days dozens were executed. He wasn't choosing who lived or died. He was enforcing the law of the revolution. But imagine the emotional weight, carrying out death sentences day after day, knowing history was unfolding in front of you, and knowing your name would always be connected to it. Despite his importance, Sanson lived a strange double life. Publicly known, privately isolated. Executioners were avoided socially. They lived on the edge of society. People needed him, but they didn't want to associate with him. He was both essential and untouchable. A man doing the Republic's work, but never fully accepted by it. Eventually, the revolution consumed its own leaders. Robespierre himself was executed by the same system he empowered, and the executions slowed. Sanson eventually retired, passing the role to his son, continuing the family tradition. He died in 1806, not as a villain, not as a hero, but as a man who carried out one of history's most controversial jobs. History remembers kings. It remembers revolutions. But sometimes the most fascinating stories belong to the people standing quietly in the background. Charles-Henri Sanson didn't create the revolution. He didn't control it. But he was the man history forced to carry it out. And that raises a question. Was he responsible for the terror, or just a servant of his time? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoy deep historical stories like this, subscribe, because history is far stranger than fiction.